Thank you, Gorilla. This is one tough assignment. I'm going to attempt to get comments from the now former World Wrestling Federation champion, Ric Flair's executive...
Shut up, Mooney. This is the way it is. Macho Man Randy Savage. You call yourself a macho man? Well, what's so macho? What an injustice. I'm not going to stand out here and say anything that wasn't true, Macho Man. You had a handful of trunks. The trunks were up. The stupid referee, a bad job of officiating. I'll tell you, Bobby, you saw what happened. Did you see what happened? I just got down from the booth. He had your tights. I saw it. It's on camera. It's on tape. I got it. There's nothing to worry about.
There is nothing to worry about. Wait a minute. There were some tactics that Ric Flair was using out there that were questionable.
What we have right now is a man that'll walk around town tonight claiming to be the real world champion, claiming to be the second time WWF heavyweight champion. He'll be claiming it all. And most of all, he'll be claiming the love of that Jezebel, Elizabeth. Now, Savage, unlike a lot of people in the greatest sport of them all, we don't cry over spilt milk. We reassemble a team. The money, the brains, the nucleus, and we say to our opponent, you did it once. Now, let's see you do it again. One time means nothing to my career. Tell him, Mr. Perfect. I'll tell you what, one time means nothing, Macho Man. Like your old lady, you're going to be damaged goods because this man has never taken a shortcut in the world of wrestling. You, Macho Man, have taken a shortcut. You had a handful of tights. We were out there, we were wrestling. This man was the greatest World Wrestling Federation champion of all time. Here it comes. Let everybody have a good long look at it because they're all going to see how the handful of tights. Here it comes. Watch, Mooney, you get a good look. Look at that handful of tights. That's the champion. He cheated. He doesn't deserve to have the title. Like his old lady, a cheater.
Well, the way it stands right now, there is a new champion in the WWF.
Right now, we regroup together. Where I go, Perfect goes. It's all monitored by Eden. And like I said before, Savage, might not be tomorrow. It might be the day after. But I'm going to beat you, and I'm going to beat you bad. And every time I see your old lady, I'm going to kiss her on those moist, wet lips. Woo! Oh, baby champ.
Well, as you know, this is not a very safe place to be. I'm out of here. Let's go over to Mean Gene Okerlund.
Hola amigos and welcome to Dro's 1992 Watch and Rank. I'm Pedro Boyd, aka Dro, aka Texan Spaniard, on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Texan Spaniard Studios on Patreon. And this is the third episode of my podcast all about watching and ranking matches from the year 1992 in the current year 2020. For the full story on the inspiration for this project, please go back to our first episode. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's doing great. I hope everyone had an awesome Valentine's weekend and is ready to hear about some 1992 wrestling. A disclaimer before going any further. The rankings, thoughts, opinions, views, and reviews on these wrestling matches are just the opinion of one guy from Southeast Texas, and not meant to be the gospel truth, hard cold facts, etc. It's just opinion, so do not take any of this as me claiming my opinion is fact. A quick run through on some other details. To make my official 1992 Watch and Rank list, matches have to rate at least 3 stars by my standards. Anything less than 3 stars just misses out on the cut, but I will discuss those matches. Also, when going through the official 1992 Watch and Rank list, I will only give fleshed out thoughts on the matches that are new to the list and just mention the other ones. And on my ratings, it basically goes like this. 0 to 1 stars is bad, caca poop. 2 to 2 3/4 stars is okay, alright, fun stuff. 3 stars is a good match. 3.5 stars is a really good match. 4 stars is a great match. 4.5 stars is a fantastic match, possibly mind-blowing. 4 3/4 stars is totally mind-blowing, amazing match. And 5 stars is the very best. All-time classic, the epitome, doesn't get any better. And a reminder, there is no such thing as a rating beyond 5 stars. I don't care what anyone else out there says. Meltzer. Either it hits 5 stars and is an all-time classic, perfect score of a match, or it isn't. There is nothing beyond 5 stars. Okay? With that out of the way, let's go through the matches that I saw this past week that just missed out on making the official list. And this week it's pretty short. There's not much here. So, Masahiro Chono defending the NWA World Heavyweight Championship against the Great Muta from WCW Starrcade, December 28th, 1992. It was alright. The energy was pretty low for this match, either from Muta having already wrestled once earlier in the night, or the crowd just not feeling two Japanese guys going against each other. But the crowd wasn't very into this, and in return, neither Muta or Chono seemed to be that into the match. Also possible because on January 4th in 1993, they do this again in Japan. So, they're about to do this match again pretty shortly. So, Chono wins with the STF, and it's okay. 2 stars. Tatsumi Fujinami versus Riki Choshu in a double title match from New Japan and WCW's January 4th, 1992 Tokyo Dome show. Interesting match to watch in 2020 since this year's January 4th Tokyo Dome show from New Japan also was main evented by a double title match. In 1992, though, it was the 18 Clubs title and the IWGP Heavyweight title being unified. This was a pretty decent match, if maybe a bit unspectacular. It felt like a struggle, a fight, but there isn't much to it. They work headlocks, exchange suplexes, Fujinami hits a dragon corkscrew, a knee from the top, and puts on the Scorpion Deathlock. Choshu hits some suplexes, a huge superplex, and then a barrage of lariats puts Fujinami down, and Choshu wins a pretty short main event. Not terrible, was a bit fun, but nothing to go out of your way to see. 2.5 stars. So, those were the matches that just missed making the official list. Not a lot to it this week. So now it is time, though. It's time to go through the official Droz 1992 Watch and Rank list. Matches have to be at least 3 stars to make it on the list, remember. So, here we go. Number 34. The Steiner Brothers versus Tatsumi Fujinami and Takayuki Iizuka. WCW's Wrestle War 1992, reviewed in episode 2. New at number 33. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Flying Brian Pillman from WCW's Halloween Havoc, October 25th, 1992. Good match. Some heated action between Steamboat and the now heel Pillman that kicks off pretty much from the very start to the finish. Good competitive back and forth match. With more time to it, this could have been an even better match, but this was a good, fast-paced, match. Even, it's a little bit on the short side, but it's good stuff. 3 stars. Number 32, Ultimo Dragon versus Blue Panther from CMLL, January 31st, 1992, reviewed in episode 1. Number 31, Barry Windham, Dustin Rhodes, and Ron Simmons versus Arn Anderson, Bobby Eaton, and Larry Zbyszko from WCW, January 21st, 1992, reviewed in episode 2. New at number 30, the Steiner Brothers, Rick and Scotty, versus Sting and the Great Muta from New Japan and WCW's Tokyo Dome show, January 4th, 1992. What a fun adrenaline rush of a match. Steiner suplexing and mauling Sting and Muta. Sting and Muta fighting back with some dives and signature spots before a flash roll-up finish. There isn't a lot to this match. It's kind of way too short. I would have loved to have seen a match with more body from it. from between these teams, but what we got was kind of spectacular. And it was super fun. So, 3 stars. Number 29, Ric Flair defends the WWF Championship against Bret the Hitman Hart from October 12th, 1992. Reviewed in episode 2. Number 28, Lex Luger defends the WCW Heavyweight Championship against Sting from WCW Super Brawl 2. Reviewed in episode 1. Number 27, Macho Man Randy Savage versus Jake the Snake Roberts from WWF February 8th, 1992. I think it was a Saturday night's main event. It's reviewed in episode 1. Number 26, the NWA Tag Team Title Tournament Finals between Barry Windham and Dustin Rhodes versus Terry Bam Bam Gordy and Dr. Death Steve Williams. WCW's Great American Bash 1992. Reviewed in episode 2. Number 25, Brian Pillman defends the WCW Light Heavyweight Championship against Scotty Flamingo, aka Raven, from WCW's Bash at the Beach, reviewed in episode 2. Number 23, Brian Pillman and Jushin Thunder Liger versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Nikita Koloff from WCW's Great American Bash 1992, reviewed in episode 2. Number 22, Rick Rude defends the U.S. title against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat from WCW Super Brawl 2, reviewed in episode 1. Lots of that. But look, new at number 21, Big Van Vader defends Rick Rude's WCW United States Championship against Nikita Koloff from WCW's Halloween Havoc, October 25th, 1992. I think the setup was like Rick Rude was going for the heavyweight title, so he was having Vader like defend the U.S. title for him, so he didn't have to wrestle twice in one night. What a good match. Vader is such a monster here, a true kaiju of pro wrestling, and he just chews up Nikita here, and it is such a big man, hard-hitting spectacle. Nikita, of course, is a hard hitter himself, and his comebacks give Vader trouble, but it's an uphill battle from the start to the finish for the Lithuanian. That may sound one-sided and not that exciting, but it's super exciting. It's like watching someone fight for their life, compelling like life and death struggle. Of course, Nikita can't survive. Vader is too much, and the powerbomb gets him. Good match, almost really good. 3 1/4 stars. Also new, at number 20, Barry Windham and Dustin Rhodes defend the Unified World Tag Team Championships against Dr. Death Steve Williams and Stunning Steve Austin from WCW's Halloween Havoc, October 25th, 1992. A really good match that was on its way to a great match until the final 5 minutes of the match. Hard-hitting, super competitive, great psychology and in-ring narratives with Dr. Death and Austin slowly gelling as a team during the match, and Windham and Rhodes being increasingly isolated and fighting for survival separately. I caught on relatively early with how much they're making a deal about the time of the match, counting down that this was going to a 30 minutes draw. A bit telegraphed, but that would have been okay. That would have been fine if they had delivered on that final 5 minutes. What we got was 2 minutes of William and Austin doing like rest holds when they should have some urgency to get the win. And then the ref takes a bump, a whole mess about who's the legal man, a pin that didn't count because of the legal man issue, another premature bell for a near fall, and just like this sloppy mess of a time limit finish. They blew it in the final 5 minutes. I'm not going to lie. They blew this match in the final 5 minutes. But the preceding 25 minutes, those 25 minutes that preceded it were really excellent. Okay, so 3.5 stars just for the 25 minutes before that 5 minute clusterfuck at the end. Number 19, Arn Anderson and Bobby Eaton defend the WCW Tag Team titles against the Steiner Brothers from WCW Super Brawl 2, reviewed in episode 1. Number 18, Barry Windham and Dustin Rhodes versus Larry Zbyszko and Steve Austin, also from WCW Super Brawl 2, also reviewed in episode 1. Number 17, Brian Pillman defends the WCW Light Heavyweight Championship against Tom Zink, the Z-Man, from WCW's Wrestle War 1992, reviewed in episode 2. Number 16, Octagon defends the Mexican national middleweight title against Fuerza Guerrera from January 31st, 1992. CMLL reviewed in episode 2. So, new at number 15, Rowdy Roddy Piper defends the WWF Intercontinental Championship against Bret the Hitman Hart from WWF's WrestleMania 8, April 5th, 1992. Really good match. Of course, I have a soft spot for this match because it's one of the matches where Bret wins the Intercontinental title, and I have a deep love for the old Intercontinental title. Pre-match promos. Piper makes some jokes at Bret's expense. Bret doesn't like it. Things get heated, so out to the ring it is. The match unfolds like the promo. Starts off like a scientific affair, then turns heated because both guys, almost like siblings, jockeying to prove they're above the other. Bret gets busted open from the turnbuckles and Piper's punches. They're having heated exchanges. The crowd is getting hotter and hotter as it goes on. Ref takes a bump. Piper takes Bret outside and rams him into everything and then throws him back in and grabs the ring bell. This part is fantastic. Piper struggling with his temper and the urge to give in and just clock Bret with that ring bell. Keep the belt, but then the crowd disapproving, feeding into his hesitation that this isn't the right thing to do. The angel on his shoulder wins, and he throws the bell out of the ring to big cheers from the fans. Yay, he's not going to turn bad guy. That all may not sound like much, but it played out almost like cinema or like great television, and I'm a sucker for things like that in matches often. Piper slaps on the sleeper hold instead, but Bret does the push off the corner backwards roll up to counter from the sleeper, and the revived ref groggily counts the fall, and we have a new Intercontinental Champion. Afterwards, Piper gives Bret the belt, and they hug and reconcile, again like family or siblings. I love the dramatic moments of this match. I was marking so hard for this match, and I've seen this match who knows how many times in my life. It still works for me. Really good match. 3.5 stars. Also new, coming in at number 14, Sting versus Big Van Vader in the King of Cable Finals from WCW Starrcade, December 28th, 1992. What a really good match. Sting knows Vader has more firepower than him, so he goes into this match with a strategy. We've both already wrestled one match tonight and have one more to go, but Sting banks on having more stamina than Vader, so all he has to do is survive the early storm and Vader will punch himself out, so to speak. That's the plan, but it sure is a struggle for his very life to try and survive the kaiju-sized brutality that Vader unloads on Sting here. Sting selling a fatigue and barely being able to stand or move is top-notch here, and really puts over Vader's sheer power and brutality. But Vader is getting fatigued and worn out from all the wrestling he's been doing on this night, and his shots are getting weaker, so Sting's plan is working. But Vader's counter is to just use his sheer mass and size as a bomb as he launches onto Sting's body from the ropes. And Vader's counter almost works, but the barely able to stand Sting has a counter to the counter. Last-ditch use of Vader coming off the top rope for power slam of sorts. Vader's too fatigued to kick out, and Sting, by the skin of his teeth, and needing the ref to help him stand, wins the King of Cable tournament. Really good match. I think I prefer the Great American Bash title match a bit more because the stakes and the big sports feel. But Sting's performance here is pretty amazing, and you can't go wrong with this match. Really good stuff. 3.5 stars. Number 13, Sting defending the WCW World Heavyweight title against Big Van Vader from WCW's Great American Bash, reviewed in episode 2. New at number 12, Bret the Hitman Hart defends the WWF Championship against the Intercontinental Champion, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, from WWF Survivor Series, November 25th, 1992. Really, really good match. It is two guys cutting a heck of a pace, having an excellent near 30-minute match that would have tore the roof off of any house show. It was interesting that back in the day, there's pretty much no doubt what the outcome was going to be for this match. And watching it decades later again, I still feel the same. it does lack some drama because regardless of the action and near falls they're putting on, you never believe Shawn has a chance to win the title. But lack of drama aside, this was 25 minutes plus of really good action. Boy, did they put on a match here. Hart retains, Santa Claus comes out to the ring afterwards, and snow falls on the ground. Kind of an interesting post-match, but a really, really good match. 3 3/4 stars. Number 11, Sting versus Cactus Jack in a Falls Count Anywhere match from WCW's Bash at the Beach 1992, reviewed in episode 2. New at number 10, Huracan Sevilla versus Bestia Salvaje in a Caballera contra Caballera match, hair match from CML's February 14th, 1992 show. Wow. This was quite the experience. Until the finish, this was legit turning into possibly the best match I had never seen before. The finish brought that down a bit, quite a bit. But wow, the work that came before that, these two were making art in that ring. The way they sold, the way they bumped, the way they caught, the way they hit moves, everything conveyed anger, revenge, impact, pain, suffering, and an epic struggle with their hair on the line. The third fall is one of the more epic third falls I've seen in a long time. The seconds, Black Magic, aka Norman Smiley, and Brazo de Oro, are so caught up in how intense it gets, they are like wanting to jump into the ring. Both men are battered to the point they can barely stand, much less fight. But they keep fighting on. Some of the near falls are mind-blowingly awesome. I could go on and on because it is just amazing stuff in this match, except the referee. He's counting slow, the slowest counts ever. And he's increasingly tries to make the match about himself. While these two luchadors are putting on a match for the ages, after so much brutal back and forth, Bestia gets Sevilla in a submission. Sevilla is shaking his finger, no. But the referee stops the match anyways. And Bestia gets the win despite not submitting Sevilla. Sevilla's pissed. His second Norman Smiley is pissed. But the referee who made this all about himself doesn't care. And Sevilla gets his head shaved. He hands his hair to the ref since the ref is the one who screwed him. And I hated the finish. I hated it. It ruined a match I felt was approaching possibly perfection. And I hated it more. Like, I would have been more okay with it if I knew that they had a rematch down the line. Like, if I knew Sevilla and Salvaje had another hair match down the line, and, you know, then you would see, like, okay, this was to set up another big Apuestas. If they had done that, I would have understood. Or if it had led to, like, Norman Smiley versus Salvaje in a Apuestas, again, I would have understood. Like, the second getting revenge for his friend or something. It doesn't lead to anything like that. They never have a rematch. There's never a rematch off of this. And it's just like, why? Why? But finish aside, until that finish, this was, I'm serious, this was like Lucha Libre heaven. 4 stars, a great match. I mean, maybe if I see this again in the future, I won't mind the finish so much, and I might rate it higher. Because, I mean, the stuff before that finish is just, it's so good. It's so amazing. Fantastic stuff. Anyways, number 9, El Signo defending the UWA Light Heavyweight title against Tejano from UWA's January 12th, 1992 show, reviewed in episode 12. New at number 8, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, defends the WWF Championship against Macho Man Randy Savage from WrestleMania 8, April 5th, 1992. Wowza! From the promos before the match to the match and the post-match and the post-match promos, this is amazing pro wrestling. Perfect and Flair claim they have pics of Miss Elizabeth with Flair from who knows when, and they're going to show it to the world. Macho Man is, of course, out of his mind, enraged and psychotic over it. He won't even do an interview. He just runs out to the ring and chases after Flair, and it's on. A great match ensues with Savage full of rage, Flair with the strategy in play, though is getting the upper hand, and Savage is in trouble. Whenever Savage mounts a comeback, here comes Mr. Perfect to turn the tide back towards Flair. And this eventually brings out Miss Elizabeth, followed by a million officials. They want Liz to go to the back. She refuses. She's cheering her man on. Savage can barely stand. Flair is taunting Liz, and then Savage catches him with a schoolboy roll-up with a handful of tights. Macho has won the WWF title again. Chaos breaks out with everyone flooding the ring. Perfect complaining. Flair forcing himself on Liz and kissing her. She slapping him. Macho going after Flair with one leg. A wild melee erupts. Things have broken down to epic proportions. Eventually, Flair and Perfect leave the ringside area, and they announce Savage as the new champion, and his music plays, and it sort of calms him down slightly, and everyone gets to celebrate with some scary-ass pyro and fireworks going off. Good Lord, they were like bombs going off around them. The promos afterwards from both Perfect, Flair, and Bobby Heenan camp, and Macho and Liz, oh man. Oh man, on top of all that goodness, during the match, the commentary with Heenan desperately cheerleading Flair, and then coming undone as it's all falling apart, added so much to everything that was going on. Even Gorilla Monsoon giddily pointing out that it's all falling apart and feeding into Heenan's despair was awesome. This is just super duper top of the line pro wrestling. The match is great. 4 stars for the match. The whole thing, though, angles, matches, promos, is must-see stuff. I remembered we thought this was great back in the day, but decades later, it's like more than holds up. It really does. Great stuff. Definitely rewatch all of this if it has been a long time like it was for me. Or if you've never seen this, correct that and watch it. Great stuff. At number 7, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Ravishing Rick Rude in an Iron Man match from WCW's Bash at the Beach 1992, reviewed in episode 2. Number 6, the Steiner Brothers defend the WCW Tag Team titles versus Terry Gordy and Dr. Death Steve Williams from WCW's Bash at the Beach 1992, reviewed in episode 2. New at number 5, the Pegasus Kid, aka Chris Benoit, defends the WWF Light Heavyweight Championship against Viano 3 from UWA's January 26, 1992 show. Wow, a great match, and this is Lucha Libre. The first fall is 90% both guys just trying to break the other one down with submissions, llaveos, and both sell the struggle and pain as if their energies are being painfully sapped away. Pegasus, feeling Viano is weakened enough, goes for more direct offense, and a diving headbutt off the top secures the first fall. The second fall is so short, best not blink or you might miss it. Pegasus goes for a dropkick, Viano moves out of the way, Pegasus' second gets blasted with said dropkick, and then Viano rolls up Benoit in a small package, and in just moments, mere moments, they're tied a fall apiece. Now the Pegasus Kid knows Viano not only still has fight in him, but can pin him with a flash roll-up. He is desperate at the start. He's trying to hit Viano with everything he's got, unloading on him. But Viano's fighting back. It's a hotly competitive back and forth that includes a lovely pescado from Benoit, where he hangs in the air for a moment before crashing down on Viano outside the ring. Both men find disaster going for high spots, and that is when things come back around to the punishing llaveos of the first fall. Benoit goes for the Cavernaria, and Viano really suffers from it. He manages to survive the first round with it, though barely, as he was getting weaker. But a brief exchange, and then Pegasus slaps the Cavernaria back on. Viano 3 even cries out, "No!" when it's being applied to him. He grows weaker and weaker until Viano 3 passes out. The referee, El Fresero, a.k.a. Fresero Jr.'s dad, stops the match, despite the pleas from one of Viano's brothers, and Pegasus Kid retains in a great match. I love that the first fall was so much longer than the rest of the other falls, and that there was an in-ring narrative reason for that, i.e. both men punishing the other so greatly through submissions in that first fall that they would only have so much fight left in them going forward. And the symmetry of it all, coming back around to the llaveos on the finish, is great stuff. I can gush quite a bit on this match. Great match, 4 stars, and it's great match. Number 4, Vader and Bam Bam Bigelow defend the IWGP Tag Team titles against Keiji Muto and Hiroshi Hase from New Japan Pro Wrestling's May 1st, 1992 show, reviewed in Episode 1. Number 3 is Sting Squadron versus the Dangerous Alliance in War Games from WCW's Wrestle War 1992, reviewed in Episode 2. At number 2, the match that was involved in the inspiration for this project, and for the first 2 weeks, the number 1 match. Jushin Thunder Liger defending the WCW Light Heavyweight Championship against Fly and Brian Pillman from WCW Super Brawl 2, reviewed in Episode 1. And now, our new number 1 match on Dro's 1992 Watch and Rank list. Mitsuharu Misawa defends the Triple Crown Championship against Toshiaki Kawada from All Japan Pro Wrestling's October 21st, 1992 show at Nippon Budokan. What a great match. The story of this match is basically this. Kawada wants to come out from under the shadow of his up till then tag partner Misawa and prove he is equal to the newly crowned ace Misawa. Misawa only having won the Triple Crown 2 months prior from Stan Hansen. So the question asked here is simply, is Kawada Misawa's equal? Everything about this match is built around this narrative. From Kawada taking his shot with that backdrop suplex when they first lock up, to all the wearing down he tries to inflict on Misawa with various punishing holds, the barrage of kicks he attacks with, and then to his desperation when he's falling behind and wants to desperately stay on top before he gets washed away by the Ace's superior firepower. Both men play their roles so well here. When I first saw this match, I think the first time I saw this was like around 1999. During the tape trading days, I could not fully appreciate the role of the Ace in Japanese wrestling. I hated Misawa's stoicness and what I perceived as his lack of emotion. Decades later, I understand the Ace role better, and I know that as the Ace, Misawa can't show much emotion. He has to appear above it all to maintain a psychological edge over the challengers coming after him. His anger and frustration takes the form of annoyance because he doesn't have the benefit of allowing his emotions to take over. Mistakes are made that way. He has to stay calm and on top of things, weathering the storms to right the ship because that's the only way he keeps things on course. Kawada proves to be a dangerous challenger, and like with many Misawa matches, he gets to a point he has to start washing the opponent away with waves of offense to create an uphill battle they cannot climb. As Kawada is crumbling under the offense late in the match, he is desperately kicking at Misawa's legs, while Kawada himself is down, he's just hoping beyond hope that something will keep Misawa down long enough for Kawada to get back up and hit anything that can maybe improve his position. But at that point, it is too late, and the Ace cannot be denied. Misawa retains. Interesting, this match, while always held in high esteem by many, has more actual wrestling involved in it than the more famous 1994 and 97 and 99 matches. Though I do agree that all those matches are superior to this one. I love how they escalate the crowd investment to nuclear levels. The Budokan crowd is just out of their mind by the end of this match. Really great match. Fantastic match. 4.5 stars. And that is that for this week on Dro's 1992 Watch and Rank podcast. A new number 1. Exciting. Next week I'm going to try really hard to get a guest on because I am really wanting to get into some conversation with someone over this 1992 stuff. So hopefully we'll pull an amigo in for some 1992 talk next week. And speaking of conversations, every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, I do a podcast with me amigos James Extreme Sorno and God of Thunder Zeus King Dark called the Markout Mania Saturday morning. It streams live from my YouTube channel, so be sure to check that out. If watching this on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe to get all the latest videos from me. Also, if you would like to see a text version of the official list, go by markoutmania.tumblr.com and it gets updated and posted there. So thank you for checking this out. See you next week. Take care and adios.